Your live stream.
Okay, we've got like 3 minutes. We may want to discuss that, scheduling that LoSAP vote tonight. Mike can give us a lot more details on that. I'd like to bring the January 12th Lancaster Village Board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge to the flag, led by Deputy Mayor Tammy Malone Schaefer.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
In the unlikely event of a fire or other emergency, you'll be directed out the door, down the stairs in front of the rear of the building. Will the clerk treasurer please call the roll?
Mayor Schroeder.
Here.
Trustee Malone Schaefer.
Here.
Trustee Mike. Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here. Minutes of the meeting dated December 22nd, which was a regular meeting. We'll need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
A motion by trustee Mickley,
Second.
second by trustee Miller. Under the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Abstract of audited vouchers, please.
I'd like to make a motion that the treasurer be authorized to pay from the vouchers all the claims against the general, sewer, trust, capital, equipment reserve, community development, and special repair reserve funds for the period from December 23rd, 2025 to January 2026. Further, that the report of the Finance Committee be accepted from the abstract of the audited vouchers, and that all claims paid against the general fund in the amount of $183,323.62, the amount of $8,120.83, trust fund in the amount of $5,187.50, for a total of $132.01, period from November 9th, 2025 to December 22nd, 2025.
We have a motion by trustee Miller,
Second.
second by trustee O'Brien to accept the abstract of audited vouchers. Under the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Listed correspondence, we have 3 pieces this evening. First is from the Town of Lancaster Building Department, providing a report of building permit applications, open complaints, inspection, and expired permits that were filed for properties within the December 19th, 2025 to December 30th, 2025.
Motion to receive and
We have a motion by trustee Mike Lee, receive and file.
Second.
Second by trustee Malone Schaefer. There's a question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Second piece of correspondence is from the New York Department of Environmental Conservation informing the Village of Lancaster that the Renewable Energy Resilience Initiative project has been selected to receive a Climate Smart Communities grant in the amount of $310,492.
Motion to receive and place into the Grants Committee?
Now we have a motion to receive and place in the Grants Committee by trustee O'Brien,
Second.
second by trustee Miller. Under the question, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. And the third piece of correspondence is from 65 Lake Avenue LLC, providing a copy of an amended environmental easement granted to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for property at 6567 Lake Avenue in the Village of Lancaster.
Motion to receive and file.
We have a motion to receive and file by trustee Michaely,
Second.
second by trustee O'Brien. Under the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Resolutions, we have two resolutions this evening. First resolution is to approve the bid packets and authorize the advertisement for bids for the following projects effective January 13, 2026, with a bid opening date on Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Project 1 of 2 is Village of Lancaster Tree Equity and Education Initiative for the procurement of 227 bare root trees. Second project of 202 is UCF tree planting for the procurement of 257 bare root trees.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion by trustee O'Brien to approve,
Second.
second by trustee Miller. Under the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The second resolution is authorizing myself as mayor to sign and execute an agreement with Kidney Architects PC for a municipal buildings condition assessment for the Lancaster Municipal Building at 5423 Broadway and the North End Fire Hall at 24 West Railroad Avenue as the select consultant for these services as previously approved on November 24, 2025.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by trustee Michaely to approve,
Second.
second by trustee Malone Schaefer. Under the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. I'll leave the following notice. Audience participation guidelines. Raise your hand and be recognized by the mayor or his or her designee. State your name and address. Speak directly to the village board only using a microphone provided. Speak once for 3 minutes or less unless extended by the mayor or his or her designee. Any unruly activity, including yelling, name-calling, or requests for personal information will not be tolerated. The audience members misbehaving in such a manner may have his or her opportunity to speak summarily terminated. Public comment will only be held in a portion of the meeting as stated in the agenda, and that is the part of the meeting we're at now. Is there anyone who would like to address the village board this evening? Come up, please, to the microphone, state your name and address, and tell us what you'd like to discuss.
Good evening, folks. Thank you. My name is John Schmarney. I'm representing the Dick Young Heritage House. Our address is 10 West Main Street in the PAC building. So what I thought I'd do is take this opportunity, since there are so many new faces in the group here, to introduce our charity and what we're doing. What I have is some information that maybe I could leave with Mike to send around the room. Not now, it's not, as long as you can refer to that later on. That's our mission vision statement, a statement of what we're doing, the work that we do, and how we help the community. And in referencing the village board website, in preparing for what I'm about to comment on now, it just struck me as we're in the same business. We're in the business of working with businesses in the community, to make life better for them, to make it more productive, and make a stronger community as a result of what we do together. So that's really the one ask that I have. I'm not here to ask for money. I'm not here to ask for anything other than if there's something that makes sense in that packet that comes through and it looks like there's a mutual project that we can help each other with, you have a charity here to be able to help you to do that. I'm pretty good at finding ways to come together to bring those kind of partnerships in place, especially if there's something in the area of history. Our charity is really 501c3. We're involved with historical projects, and there's a lot of that in this village for sure. And volunteerism. Dick Young is I say the young man. We always used to kid each other. He was in his 90s, and I'm not too far behind. So, we'd always look at each other and say, "Young man," but he was He was looking for a way to create a legacy for himself. He called me one day in like 2021, and the background is that he wanted to create a legacy. He said he's worked so hard his whole life. If any of you know Dick, then you certainly know that to be true. He helped the community in a whole lot of different ways, and he wanted to do something more substantial, and that was the start of this charity. And since he died last year, and we're all saddened by that, we're losing his leadership, but certainly his spirit continues. And when he hired me to help him out with that, I think that that hiring decision is going forward. And I'll continue to really work on his legacy and help the Village of Lancaster, help any of you folks that have a project or have a constituent that is in the area of historical preservation or in the area of volunteerism. I'd be glad to come and meet with you and chat about some creative ways to help make that happen. Still in the Lions Club, I guess? So the service providers are talking about the same thing. Volunteerism is really hard. Dick had a spot in his heart for the firemen. The whole country has a spot, has a recognition that the difficulty of recruiting firemen just doesn't stop. There's got to be some creative way to do that. Even talking with our congressman, he said, if you can come up with a way to help recruit volunteer firemen, we'll take it across the country for you because nobody can do it. So it's a pretty significant challenge, being aware of that. It's just a matter of saying, somehow we'll come up with a creative answer. Even if it's 1 or 2 or 5, it doesn't really matter, but we'll make some progress. What I'm giving you in that little packet is our mission vision statement that basically says that, we're in the process of finding ways to help with the historical preservation of the town. One of the projects we took on last year, actually the year before, Mary Jo is on our board, and she was a very significant part in renovating some of the family cemeteries in town. Very necessary project. If any of you had ever seen any of those family cemeteries, she discovered the Powers Cemetery out near Genesee in total disarray, hadn't been maintained in 20 or 30 years. And I give her credit for almost personally, bringing it back to a really nice. That's just an example. Another example, and you got a buzzer to kick me off the dais here, that'll be fine. But as far as working last year on our volunteer recognition event, Tammy was involved with that. And we thank you, because that helped us kick off that whole idea and make people aware of who was there. We had 15 nonprofits that were helped by that event. And certainly being part of an established village event is just an example of how we can really do some things. We really needed that help at that time. And that Fall Fest event came through big time. We even prayed for good weather, and Tammy came through on that one too. There are so many examples that we can come up with as we start thinking about how we can work together. And if there's a challenge, I'd love to just sit and talk with a challenge that, the firemen is one thing, that's a for sure. But if there's some constituency base, we're coming up on spring planting for sure. I heard you put out for bid for some things, but, Lancaster Beautification is in dire need of more volunteers. They do a great job every year. We're going to help them this year to try to recruit more and make sure it's as organized as it could be. So that's really all I wanted to say. A big thank you for being here, knowing that I can come in front of this group or, give Mayor Schroeder or any of you a call and do the same. If we have a nonprofit, everybody helps a lot of people in town, but nobody seems to help nonprofits enough. I would say in the 3 years that we've been in business, I would have to say we haven't had one call saying, how can we help your nonprofit? Now, that could be something that we didn't do well enough as far as publicity. But the point is that as they sensed around the different nonprofit organizations, even did a search on our friends at ChatGPT and said, well, okay, how can we help nonprofits? Their response was they all need help. And they all need unique help. So go out and talk to them, and I'm about to do that. You'll see on some of the things we'll be doing, I'll be, making a round of all the 15 nonprofits that were at our event, start with them, and do a good, solid interview of what are their issues, how do they need help, and I'll be glad to share the results of all of those interviews with you folks to get a pulse of what that looks like. So that's what we're all about, Dick Young Heritage House. And on the last page of that, and I don't know if you had a chance to see the Heritage windows at 10, I got Gavin, I guess you can tell us what you saw, right?
Yeah, it's
it good?
It's incredible. As you're walking by the building, you see these pictures of history, and like projected on the glass of the PAC building. And I don't know, I guess I heard that there was thousands of pictures that will cycle through, and so I only saw a small bit of them, but yeah, I think it's really cool technology, and it adds a lot to that building.
Well, there's the guy right here that did it all, Chris Young. But you need recognition. Everybody wants a little recognition. You guys do so much who will recognize what Chris did with that. And of course, Mary Jo is, with her job at the, at our, well, I don't know how many photographs you actually have. Probably a couple thousand. The point is that we're going to recognize significant people, significant occurrences, significant pieces of history, significant people and companies over the course of the time. So if there's someone that's contributed in some great way that you'd like to see put up on the windows, you got my email address there. Send me an email and I'll get back to you. The only caveat there is that when we all get to there can be some criteria that we're going to put up there about what is a significant event, a significant person. And our board will make those decisions just to stay out of the world of favoritism. Maybe it's favoritism in some kind of a way all the time, but hearing from you about somebody that is really worthy, of a spot in the window. I figure there's 52 weeks, so we could have 52 different people in a year. Or you could say there's 365 days, so you can have 365 people. But the point is, if we can recognize, the history of this village of ours, if we can recognize the people that were responsible for the historical things, people like Arthur. Arthur's been in the Lions for a while, and you've seen a lot of great people come through the Lions. The lady that does the Girl Scouts, another wonderful person.
Lady Stonebreaker.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk with her at that Fall Fest event, and it's just amazing what she does. Then Mary Jo is giving me a tour of the Historical Society, and that's that's where she had her Girl Scouts meeting. So these people are just all over the place and probably don't get recognized well enough. So we're going to do our best to do that, even if it's just a letter or something. But we are going to start recognizing all those people. I would hope that we do enough of that, but I would guess that we don't. I know we don't. So if there's something that we can do to help with recognition, we certainly want to do that. All right? So that's really all I had for today. I hope that didn't take up too much of your time, except a big thank you is a terrific way to help me start this meeting out. All right?
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the village board this meeting? Okay. If not, we will move on to committee reports, and we'll begin with Finance and Claims. Chairman Miller.
Do you want to start with paper streets?
Yeah, I'll start with Paper Streets. One of the projects that's been with the village board for the last just over a year and a half, was the status of several paper streets down in between Lake and 6th. At this point, we've acquired the surveys of the streets. We're going to create email or letters to all of the property owners with properties adjacent to each of the streets, and essentially let them come to us with an agreement on how they want the streets divided up. The situation with these streets is that there's access driveways, there's brick walls, there's things that over time have been built on the streets that would just make it very complicated to use the space for anything else. So our request to these property owners is to look at the surveys, look at your where your property is in relation to it, and come up with a way to divide these up, and then come back to us, and then we can then work on passing those along to the property owners. So that's still in progress, but there's no real rush in this case. The streets, they owned them. There was a period of time where the county owned them, and there was some fear they were going to get auctioned off. The village owns them now, so they are in good hands. Time to come to the decision that makes the most sense for themselves. Additionally, later this week we have a meeting with engineering consultant services that answered our RFQ for municipal engineers. That's on Wednesday. They'll have a chance to present to the village board and Wayne and others about the different services they can provide the village, and we'll make a decision after that meeting about how we want to go forward with that.
Okay. LoSAP, I know last month we were talking about moving it to January. Another discussion, so do we want to go ahead and
I think we decided we would go in March.
March,
We
yeah?
would probably want to set that date. And I believe other March elections were like the third Tuesday in March. Is that correct,
right?
Mike? Something like that?
Typically, yeah, the election, this year, the election date, because they don't hold elections on St. Patrick's Day, which is the third Tuesday in March, village election day is actually Wednesday, March 18th, and that would be the day that you would hold the election. And in order to schedule a referendum vote for LoSAP, I believe you have to be within 10 and 60 days to do that. Actually, the next board meeting would be the meeting we would want to have the resolution on the agenda for the next board meeting to schedule that.
And we
With all of the details of what it is we're voting for. You need to have that all laid out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth noting that the resolution isn't just to schedule the meeting, it's to approve the changes.
Yeah.
Which then causes the need for the referendum. It's not just scheduling, like it's saying we think this should happen.
Okay, anything else, Steve? Okay. Public Works,
No update this evening from Public Works.
Public Safety, I have nothing this evening. Building Lights and Codes, Chairman Mickley.
Few things, tonight we just passed a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign the building condition assessment report with Cadeni Architects. So I will soon set up a kickoff meeting with myself, Cadeni, Superintendent Cisco, and Mike. I think you should be there as well. And it'll be an ongoing project over the next several weeks and months. We'll be having architects and engineers take a good hard look at this building as well as Penn Fire Hall to make sure, see what kind of condition the buildings are in. I think that's important to the board for approving it. We will have in a few weeks new building access system in this building, and the employees will all be setting. Everybody who does get access will be on a PIN code right now. So you'll be asked. I think we'll receive emails asking us to set a 6-digit PIN code. There'll be no more fobs. The installation date as of now for that is January 22nd. We will, and as Mike mentioned in the work session, this system does allow scheduling, remote scheduling as an administrator. We can have it set up so that the building will be automatically open on the evenings when there are meetings. The committee members will have access to open the doors, at least, and we'll make sure, though, that remotely they'll always be set to open and close at certain times. The groups who had been meeting here, which we discussed the past few meetings, the groups who had been meeting here will still be allowed to meet here during the day, and we'll be given some sort of grace period to find new space. Moving on, one of the Fire Hall, we've talked it's been in this committee report for a long time that we need a new generator there, and it does. So Wayne and Brian have been over there, and we know it's going to need a lot of electric work, a lot of electrical upgrades. Good news is, it's all good news. I mean, the good news is that we can do it in-house. So we've got talented people in-house. The other good news is we'll soon, hopefully the next meeting, we'll have an estimate, approved bid to be able to go forward with that. It's something that's been in the works for a long time. The generator that's there probably shouldn't be there anymore. It's very, very, very old.
Original to the building.
It's original to the building, so you said? Yeah, so, yeah, that's a few decades too old. And hopefully we'll have the new ones set in place in the not too distant future. That's all I have.
Okay, anything for Trustee Mickley?
I'm just going to ask, could we remove the environmental easement? DOT has provided the, and I'm speaking to Superintendent Cisco in between, he says that once the weather gets nicer, we'll arrange getting those bumpers installed.
The only thing that I have for human resources, again, to department heads and all village employees are more than welcome. The invitation is open for CPR class. We're holding a CPR certification this week, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday from 9 to 1, Thursday, I believe, is 5 to 9. Anyone that's interested or through department head sign up, please contact me. There's a possibility that we'll have one more date in February.